Welcome to the I Work For Me podcast. This is Melina Lewis, and today I am chatting to Pam from a fantastic business called Print Logic. Now, I met Pam at a women's networking event quite a while back, and she has since then saved my ass in terms of printing, in terms of my books. I remember the first thing she said when she looked at the first version of my printed first adult book. She looked at it and she was like, yeah, there's things we could do to make it better. And I thought, yes, that's great. I like that about this person. She knows that she can do a better job. And basically, she can do a better job for cheaper. So I love Pam. I think she's amazing. But we won't talk about my print issues. We're going to actually introduce Pam and talk about her exciting adventures in terms of business and how she has managed to build her business and what she does. So without further ado, welcome, Pam.
Thank you, Melina. And thank you for that wonderful introduction. I didn't know that telling someone that they didn't have a great job was a good thing.
It totally is a good thing. It's a great thing, actually. As I said, for me, I was okay with the quality of my book at that point, and I needed a reprint. It was all perfect timing. It was kismet, as they say. And it was just fantastic when you said, we could do it better. And I love that because you have. And you've saved me loads of money. So, and as an independent author who has to print her own books, I am forever grateful. So yes. But as I said, let's park that and tell us, Pam. We always want to know, first up, what was it that you wanted to be when you were a little girl, and the first thing you can remember wanting to be? What was that?
Off the top of my head, I remember always wanting to be a policewoman, but I think that, that's kind of every kid's dream is, I'm going to be a policeman. My 5-year-old wants to be a policeman, so I think that it's just, we all want to do that. But it was something that I really wanted to do, and why, I don't know. I can't tell you that it was anything specific, but I do recall at one stage my mother loving the idea because in the Noddy and Big Ear books, PC Plod was the policeman.
Yes.
And my initials at the time were PC. So she just thought this was the thing. PC Plod.
I love that. That is so cute and so fitting. And you've lived up to it in a certain way in terms of that you are working with people and helping them develop their brands. So you definitely are giving instruction of a kind. So can you tell everyone what it is that you actually do? Because you are not, let me just state for the record, you are not the person sitting there with ink on your hands printing books and all of that stuff. So explain to us exactly what it is that a brand Imagineer does.
Okay, so the brand Imagineer is 25 years in the making, where I started. I was working for a roof insulation company, and I helped them to develop their brochure. And the printer at the time, when I resigned from there, said, well, come work for me. And I couldn't understand why, and they just said that I had a knack for it, which I thought was really weird. But then I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. So I went to a signage company instead, and then I went to the printing company. And through the whole last 25 years, I've worked in different spaces of print production. Whether it was Ogilvy as a production manager, whether it was for a company called Print Outsource International, where I was an account manager for the likes of Old Mutual and Sanlam, managing all their printing. And through all of that, I've learned so much, whether it's being as a printer, whether it's being a client service manager, whether it's being a client purchasing on behalf of my clients. Through all of that, I have developed this passion for finding the right solution for a client. You know you need a printed book, and I'm going to go back to your book. Sorry, Melina.
Yeah.
But you know you need a book, and you know you need it at the best possible price, and you need it within a certain time frame. Yet that's not your industry. So you put it out there and you go, help. And I'll put up my hand and go, how can I help you? What is it that you want? What is it that you want to achieve? And at the best possible price. So, and the reason I will get a best possible price is because I'm not just doing your book, I'm doing several other books that will mean that I get better pricing than you would if you went directly to the supplier. So when I'm imagineering your brand, you imagine it and I engineer it. So that's basically what the imagineering is, where someone has an idea of what it is that they want to achieve, and I put the nuts and bolts together to end up being able to deliver the result of what it is you want.
Oh, that is so cool. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. I still do it. I do. I get goosebumps every time. I think that's probably the most succinct way of ever having explained it to anyone. So thank you for that.
Oh, that's classic. But it's lovely. It's that joining of imagination and engineering. And I love where science and art meet, actually, because I come out of studying science, but I've ended up in, for lack of a better term, an arts industry. And I love where the two meet, because I think that's where the magic often happens. You know, it doesn't have to be all straight lines or all curly lines. You know, you can have something in between. So that's very, very cool. Okay, so you really work closely with people in helping them kind of turn their ideas into reality, in terms of, and is that only in the print space, or do you also do kind of giveaways or that kind of stuff as well?
So when I'm a brand imagineer, it's anything with branding on. So whether it's a logo, whether it's a message, whether it's anything. Another example, and funny, I've just been chatting to someone recently about it, is that I helped a client find the best way to create a wine label. So you go, wine label, wow, that sounds amazing and all exciting. And normally wine labels are done 15, 20, 30,000 units at a time, which means that they can go for the really high-end finishes that cost a lot of money, but because of the quantity of units that they're doing, it actually works out fairly cheap. But he was getting, or the client was getting, an unlabeled bottle from a local winery that he wanted to put his own label on and be able to export it to the African countries as an opulent label. So the wine, which is now opulence, wanted something more. So what we were able to do is we were able to print 2,500 labels with all the bells and whistles, where we were able to create a silver and a copper and a gold foiling type effect with a high build, which is a high gloss, and a die cut. And it was all done digitally, which means that we could do 2,500 units at a really, really good price. But it took a lot of thought and a lot of understanding of what the ink can do on a certain material in order to achieve this. It's not something that just happens. It did take a lot of sorting, and that was one of the most imagineered branding projects that we've worked on. And it's great to be able to go that we've been able to save him, where a label now costs R1.70 as opposed to R1 a bottle.
Yeah.
Or 7 or 8.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that definitely is Imagineered in terms of the beauty, in terms of the label and the colors and all of that that's involved.
Absolutely.
But then, you know, wine label actually needs to, like, it must stick to the bottle. And, you know, if water drops on it or wine, you know, what happens?
It mustn't run.
Yeah, it mustn't run.
Exactly.
And so it is completely Imagineered. So I love that. Oh, I'm going to use your word. I'm stealing it. So
go for it. I haven't trademarked it yet.
No, you should.
Going to trademark it.
Pam, so tell us, I know you gave us a bit of insight into kind of, you've eventually come to this place where you are doing this with businesses based on kind of your experiences and all the different jobs you've had. Have you always only done one thing, or have you also managed to kind of have multiple streams of income? Do you still have multiple streams of income? How do you work best?
How do I work? I don't know how I work best. I'm still trying to figure it out. So when I figure it out, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I think one of the big things is not putting myself in a box and knowing that there's always something else to learn. There's always something else to experience, and I don't know it. Being open to having mentors that will help you soundboard ideas and thoughts, and having people around your table that will sort of guide you. And I have a vast range of people that I talk to on a regular basis going, I've got this brilliant idea. And some people go, Pam, it's a shiny ball, slow down, focus on what you're good at. Or other times they'll go, yes, go for it. It's a brilliant idea. Do it. It's in line with what you're doing. So finding the way not to spread yourself too thinly, but also being able to keep excited and challenged and motivated by the new and different things that you do. I mean, I started off in the Defence Force. I mean, I was a naval swan when I started work because I didn't know what else to do. So it was just, let's do something. So that's where I started. Sorry.
Wow.
Did I not
Is my face looking too shocked? Because I'm just picturing you in like, I don't know, what
uniform.
Lady Navy people wear? Do they wear like blue clothes or like, is that too literal? Navy equals Navy?
No.
That was a bit of a doff.
Okay, so that's a story I have to tell you.
Okay.
The police force was a thing. Okay, so when I left matric, I had English, Afrikaans, math, science, and biology. And it was, I'm not going to university. They're all university exemption subjects. I just want to start working. I'm done. That's it. I'm done with school. I'm not going to study anything. My dad said to me at the time, so why don't you become a policeman? That's what you've always wanted to do. I said, no. Sounds like too much hard work. And he said, so what about the Defence Force? Go, just take a gap here, do the Defence Force, join. And I thought, okay, I don't want to join the army. I mean, brown uniform.
Yeah, no, brown and brown, gross. Yeah, he does that.
Definitely. So it was a matter of going, okay, so the Air Force or the Navy. Air Force is blue, Navy is white. I could do with either of those, uniform-wise.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I phoned the recruiting office in Pretoria because I was in Joburg. So I phoned the recruiting office in Pretoria. I said, please put me through to the recruiting officer for the Navy or the Air Force. They put me through to the Navy. Hence, I joined the Navy. I mean, that's making decisions for myself. That's how I make decisions. Let other people do it for you.
I love that. Oh, well, you got the white outfit, And
I got the white outfit.
Yeah. I must be honest and say the guys in the white outfits are not too bad. So,
exactly.
Good choice on you. Good choice on you. At least you had lots of eye candy, hey?
Yeah, well, there we go. And the funniest thing is it was purely based on the colour of the uniform as to why I chose. It's the side of coming out again.
I love it. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so you started off in the Navy in your white outfit,
yes.
And then you kind of went on a bit of a journey, but you've ended up owning your own business. How did you decide that
okay, so
to be?
I think almost back to your previous question to the amount of different spaces I've been. So it was in the Navy. I was in the Navy. That's all I ever did. However, while I was in the Navy, I also worked as a waitress at Spur because I wanted to do something different. I wanted to earn a little bit of extra income, do something different, meet different people, not all the people that I'm stuck with in the office kind of thing. So that was, and funny enough, it's while I'm talking to you, I've never thought of that as being the reason why I actually became a waitress, was to connect with other people. And I love connecting with people. That's like one of my networking is like, I could get paid full time to network. Hire me.
You should.
I'd be happy. But I love connecting with people for all kinds of reasons, not just for building my business, but to help them and develop and grow in other ways that I would never have thought possible. So while I was in the Navy, I was doing the waitressing. After that, I went to work for a roof insulation company, then I went to the signage company, then I started in the printing. And through all of that, there was always Amway. There was always, these other things like, try this. I think I was selling Justine at one stage. I was selling Avroy Schlein. So all these, always doing something else other than just the job. Always trying to challenge myself to do more and better and all the rest. And then at one stage, my mom and I started another business called Over the Top, which my daughter, so this was about 18 years ago. So Over the Top was an adult toy business. And we decided to have a away party type adult toy business. And it was fun. I mean, I was doing it with my mother. It was like weird.
Your mum must be tons of fun.
Absolutely. And so there was always other things that we were doing in some way or another. But I also found that I became so excited about doing all the different things that I never really focused on one thing. That it was a little bit here and a little bit here and a little bit there. And so my learning from that was to rather find one thing that I was really good at and expand on that. So then with PrintLogic, when PrintLogic happened, I could just do print, or I could just do signage, or I could just do promotional items or corporate gifting. And what I do is I incorporate all of them because they're all so uniquely different. But yet when I service a client, I can service them with all their branding, starting from concept through to execution and delivery of everything, whether it's their business card, their billboard, their car vehicle signage, their uniforms, or their folders, or their annual reports, and all the other bits and pieces that come along with it. So I have opened myself into a whole range of products that, and eventually I think that I'll start doing other stuff as well. But once PrintLogic has got to a point where it can carry on and work without me, then I'll do something else. Don't ask me what yet. I'll let you know.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it's great that you've got that kind of central, I think that brand imagineering is at the core of everything that you do. So it could, as you say, pull out into multiple other things, you could pull it out into PR or whatever, media, like so much you want to do.
Absolutely.
So I think it's awesome to see how your business, once you found that thing, that passion that you have, that you're good at, you were then able to pull it into everything else that your clients needed and offer this kind of holistic branding experience, which is amazing. So because you've been at this business now for 6 years and you've obviously been working for quite a while as well, what do you think is crucial if someone wants to start a business? Maybe they've been fired during kind of COVID and lockdown, or maybe they've decided that what they've been doing is really not for them and they're going to now start a side hustle. What would be kind of some Pam advice that we could pass on?
Do it, whatever it is. Don't wait to be perfect. Way too many of us go, oh no, the business plan has to be ideal, or this has to be ideal, or I'm waiting for the ideal client to come along, or I'm waiting for the ideal opportunity or the perfect idea. If you wait, it'll never happen, because perfection is probably the biggest holdback of ever. The amount of people that are waiting for perfection and they'll never ever do anything because of it. So absolutely do it, whatever it is. And even if it's small, and even if you fail, you're not failing, you're learning how to do things better. Through failure, you figure out that didn't work, or working with that kind of person, or using that supplier, or whatever didn't work in that instance. Doesn't mean that the idea is wrong. It just means that maybe your execution is wrong. Be open to that it's not perfect, and that you're going to keep on changing, and it's going to develop into something. There's still times I sit back and I go, my hat, I've been at it for 6 years. I cannot believe. I mean, they say the first 3 years of any business is you're either going to sink or swim. And I'm kind of still floundering, Am I sinking? No. Am I swimming? No, but I'm still going.
Yes.
And I'm making some money. Am I making millions? No. Will I make millions? One day, I hope so. But in the process, I'm having fun. I've got time to spend with my kids. I've got time to go and network. I've got time to do exciting things like find the ideal solution for a wine label, or export stuff through to Germany, or, different things that I've done that I never thought I would be able to do. And I've been able to do it all under the umbrella of PrintLogic. One of the biggest things is if a client says, can you? You say yes. and then you figure it out. That's Richard Branson's number one, and I live by it. Someone says, can you do it? You say, yes.
Yes.
Shit, you figure it out, and you will. There are so many people that will help you along the way as well. It's amazing. You put a question out there. You say, guys, I need help. Someone will help you figure it out.
It's true. We don't give humanity enough credit, and people are inherently good. It is my firm belief.
I agree.
And I think, you know, with the right, I'm going to go all woo woo now. With the right energy, there is so much good in the world, and if you put it out there in the right way, then you find that it attracts like. So
absolutely.
There's something else that I wanted to ask you. You had earlier mentioned mentors and having the right people around your table. And I think as though that was quite fundamental in your business and in progressing your ideas and your thinking. Would you advise people to have a mentor, mentee, mentor, you would be the mentee, in their building of their business?
Absolutely. The thing is that there will not be one specific mentor that will be able to cover everything.
Right.
There are going to be some mentors that will be able to help you on a marketing point of view. There'll be some mentors that will help you from a financial point of view. There'll be some mentors that will help you creatively, whatever it is business needs. I'm going to do a bit of a name drop here. Diane Boerman, who I'm going to introduce you to, because I definitely think that she'll be a good addition to this. She is one of my business coaches, and she helps me and holds me accountable. I think that's the big thing.
Yes.
It's all easily to go, oh, well, I'm going to phone 10 clients this week. And then I'm busy with a quote for someone, or I'm busy resolving an issue for someone, and that's so much more exciting than cold calling clients or phoning people. No, you should. So I end up doing stuff I like doing rather than stuff I should be doing.
Oh my goodness, you've totally, I'm giggling because it's this
it's true.
Nervous little girl giggle where I'm the naughty child in the corner because, oh my goodness, I would rather sit and faff with Facebook ads and write some copy and maybe start a new story rather than phone the bookstores and hack the distributor and all of that stuff that I hate.
Yep.
So, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm definitely not getting a coach. They'll make me do all that horrible stuff.
Okay, but there's one of two ways of doing it, right? One is that you understand that you're not going to do it, so you hire someone to do it for you. You get a VA. You go, here we go. I don't want to do it. You do it, which is a good way of doing it because then you know that the stuff gets okay. But then at least you can face your coach at the end of the month. You go, I'm not doing it, but I'm getting it done.
Great.
And that's the thing, that suddenly you realize how much you're prepared to do it. And now you're being held accountable. You go, how to get it done. Whether it's me or someone else is irrelevant. You sit down. One of my first outsources was to outsource my driver. Rather than me doing every single delivery, I love doing the deliveries. I love delivering a job to a client and then seeing this beautiful job and they go, oh, thank you, Pam. This is so great. This is exactly what I want. And then you get to connect with the client and that kind of thing. And I loved it. Thing is that I would then take 3 hours to deliver the job, which means that 3 hours out of my day was spent doing something that I loved, but added no value. Yes, it did with building relationship with my client. It was worth that much. Rather go have a coffee with them than spend the time doing a delivery. And it was so then now I use my driver, who is absolutely phenomenal. I know he'll pick it up and deliver it in the same day for me. And it doesn't cost me half as much time-wise or value-wise as getting him to. And that was one of the simplest solutions for me to create additional time in my day. Simple. And it's fine, but I would never have realized that on my own because I was so used to doing it. And because I had made the decision that me doing the delivery was the best thing, because that's when I could connect with my clients. I had trained myself into believing that that was the only way to do it, until someone else held the mirror up and said, look at this. This is how much it's going to cost you here. This is how much it costs you. Time, effort, finances, whatever. And you've got to weigh the two up. And suddenly I'm going, so why am I doing it myself? Now I go, let's have a coffee. We know what we're doing. We're having a coffee. We're having a conversation. We're building our relationship. Whether you got your delivery or not is irrelevant. The driver will make sure you get stuff.
Yes. And I think that's a fantastic, it's almost a business hack, really, in terms of, and you would think like you'd need a big fancy consulting company to come in and reassess your business and understand, your how your business works to figure that out. But it's actually such a simple thing. Are there any other hacks that kind of you can think people could use to kind of either make things run better or faster?
There are so many, and each business is uniquely on its own.
Right.
So virtual assistants are the new latest craze.
Right.
Finding one that will be able to actually lighten your load. And it means interviewing, chatting to them, making them understand your business. And I mean, I've got a list this long of virtual assistants that I have spoken to in the last 3 or 4 years. And there's probably 1 or 2 that I will use for certain items. Also, little things like, for instance, I found someone who will do my car license. I hate standing in a queue. So now I have found someone that costs me a little bit extra.
Yes.
It's a whole lot of money and time and effort and frustration.
Yeah, it's a 4 to 6 hour wait in the queue.
Exactly.
And I found a husband who did it. So
you see, my husband won't even do it.
No.
So both of our vehicles done at the same time. And I email all the information. They send me a thing back. Thank you very much. They deliver to my door 3 days later. It's done.
Oh no, with every penny, best thing you've ever done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So just thinking about
there's little things like that. Yeah, but it's understanding, and you're not necessarily going to know all the solutions, but having a group of people that you can chat to and go, this really annoys me, or this really irritates me, and being open to the fact that someone of something that you may or may not have thought of before.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing of being a business, a lone wolf out there as an entrepreneur, small business owner. It's lonely, hey? And so very often you are talking to yourself, or like me, I talk to my dogs and my cats, and sometimes the plants, and they're just not very good with responding on good advice. So no, penny that, hey, that barking, just don't understand. So you have to step out of your comfort zone and ask for help from other business people, or connect. I know you're very involved with kind of like a women's business networking group. Like that is possibly a solution as well.
Absolutely. So there's so many different networking groups here, locally, in the country, internationally, and it's finding the right one that works for you. So as I said, and I've said it a couple of times, I love networking. I love connecting with people, whether it's to build a business or to build someone else's business. I love to understand what your business is about and how can I help you grow, because by helping you grow, I will grow as well in some small way, whether it's through personal growth or learnings or whatever. There is always a growth opportunity. And finding the right networking groups mean that you need to put yourself out there and go and experience them. It's actually been quite weird because all the networking groups have now gone online. So I'm a hugger. I'm a people's person. And speaking to people online is not the same. Having coffee, no, it doesn't work for me quite the same way. So I'm desperate for us to get back to level 0 when we can go and visit people any which way without masks. But at the same time, having the connection has definitely helped me to maintain going forward at the moment.
Right.
So there's Extraordinary Woman, and there's Businesswomen's Association, and there's BNI, and there's so many of them. But then to find the right one that works for you, it's a matter of trial and error, and see which ones do work and which ones don't. There are some that are exceptionally structured, some that are a lot more relaxed, and you just need to find the one that works. But through each one of those, you will find people that will connect with you and will help you to help your business in some way or another, whether it's just through advice, just through bouncing ideas off each other. I know that through networking, there are some people that I still do business with, and I network with them. I met them through a network event probably about 15 years ago, and I still work with them. So, and we may not see each other every day, but I know she's the woman that gets my stationery order every year. She does my kids' school stationery. Another one of those life hacks. I email her the school stationery list, and she delivers
it. Done.
Yes, I don't have to do anything. It's lovely.
It's fantastic. Cool. And I think I am, and I mean, this is probably a failing on my part, is that I get quite I don't really like networking events, even though I love people and I love engaging. I find networking events, I become awkward, and I turn into like someone who makes bad jokes, or ends up with spinach in their teeth and smiles the whole time. So networking events turn my stomach into a knot. But that said, I can totally see the value, in the sense that the one that I went to here in Cape Town was where I met you. And you've really, really been amazing for me and my book business. And so I would like to encourage people to maybe try networking events at least once a month, or once every second month, and try a different one. As you say, try a different one.
Oh.
And I think the important thing is, so I always think, I must take a friend with, because I'm so scared. And yes, but if you take a friend, what you often do is you sit and talk to your friend and then stare and glare at everybody else, and you don't actually have to. Whereas if you're kind of standing there with your lonely cup of tea and you're like, okay, I better sidle up to this person and go, so hello, what do you do? And I think it's important to try and do it on your own. Put on your big girl panties or boy panties and get out there and try and meet some different people. So you're very good at it. I am insanely impressed.
What I can say is that when you do decide to go to a network event, go with a goal in mind. I mean, just like any other business thing, is that you go, I want to meet 5 new people. Okay. And that's what the goal is. And then you'll probably meet 7 or 8 people, but there'll be 5 people there that you go, I want to connect. The network meeting is not where you connect with them. It's afterwards. So many people think that you're going to make a connection at the meeting, and then you'll be absolutely sorted, and that's the way it'll work. But it's actually not. You actually need to go to the network meeting, meet with the people, and make a point of meeting with them afterwards. That's where you know them. That's where you build the relationship, and that's how it'll go from there. Nothing happens at the network meeting other than just an exchange of business cards. There are certain network meetings where everything is very structured, and you know that this is what you need to do. But even with those, you still only walk away with a few business cards. Once you have your goal, what it is you want to achieve, it makes it that much easier. And then once you have those business cards, connect with people afterwards. If it's an email, if it's a WhatsApp, if it's an SMS, however you want to do it, go, hi guys, this is what we did, and I'd love to connect with you through this. Then you connect with them on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, because then you start becoming in people's faces, which means that they start, which means that you're building a relationship. So whether you want to sell them, whether you want them to do something for you, eventually it's easier because you've built the relationship.
Yes, absolutely. And you've got to kind of...
Networking 101.
Networking 101. There we go, people. You've had your course and we're over. No. So I like that you talked about setting a goal for just that event. Do you set bigger goals? So do you set like annual goals or monthly goals or anything like that?
Are you talking network wise or are you
business wise, generally?
Generally, yes. I set goals for the week. I set goals for the month. I need to know that I've got to make X this week, and that's the goal. And I need to make sure. Do I hit it every time? No. But having the goal means that I can sit down and go, yes, I sold to Melina this week, which means that I've got, or Melina didn't place the order, let me, find it somewhere else and that kind of thing. So there's various ways that you need to set your goals, and it's okay if you don't reach it every time. It's okay if you don't get the goals every time, and it's okay if you fail occasionally, but set the goals, because the goals mean that you've got something to work towards. Right. Weekly, monthly, annually. I don't know what I'm going to do at the end of the year. I don't know what I'm going to do next year. But at least the idea is to have a business that is still going. And that in itself is a really great goal.
Mm. Yeah. Come hell or high water, I want this business to keep going. Yeah, exactly. Yes. That's a good one. And then you can get into the how. So yeah, I fully agree. I like to have goals. I really, really do. But I was listening to one of the podcasts that I'd done with a young girl, and she was talking about having a goal, but then kind of being kind to yourself, which is very much in line with what you said. Like, okay, cool. So I didn't get 50 people for this or that or the other thing, but I want to keep trying and making my way towards that goal. And I think that's important, is not to be disheartened. Often it's too easy. So goals are very important, and it's one of those things that you kind of just need to have that stake in the ground and then try and aim there, but without kind of beating yourself up if you don't make that exact goal. I think that's very, very important to remember. So
I think that, just want to add to that, because I think that is super, super important, because we all start thinking that we're failing when we're not achieving our goals. And you need to be able to rest, and you need to be able to balance it out as well. And let me go woo-woo, like you do. I love that. Is that you need to go with the flow. Because sometimes the flow is to sit and do nothing so that your creativity can take over. Or sit so that the ideas can come. Because if you're so busy doing stuff, you're not allowing yourself to be open to whatever ideas can come. And you'll notice that, and I know with myself, when I'm in the car, when I'm in the shower, all the times that I'm at my quietest is when I have my most amazing ideas. That I go, I need to do that more often when I've got a pen and paper available. So paper available then.
I'm glad you don't have a pen and paper available in the shower. That would be odd. But I can get those bath crayons. Maybe those will work for you.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, and then being okay and having those no busy times, because that you're getting what you need as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm terrible at having a no busy time. I'm almost like on the go all the time, which is so stupid. So I would definitely advise people against that. It doesn't do you any good. So yeah, take that out, So we kind of touched on, so if you're not meeting your goals, and then kind of looking at failure. So have you kind of any major kind of failures, not in relation to goals, but just in general, in terms of what you would consider a failure, any failure that has helped to teach you a very valuable lesson that you now kind of implement?
I think every failure does have a lesson of some sort. Sometimes we're blind to it because of our own
drama,
default or whatever. Yeah. No, sorry, that definitely wasn't a lesson. But I learned really. So I'd been working for TWA Hunter Scars as a production, and that was my arrive in Cape Town job. So it was a 6-month contract. I arrived here, and I thought, okay, great. Now I'm in Cape Town. That was the reason I took the job, was to get to Cape Town. So now I'm here, done my 6 months. I hate working there. So okay, I'm going to do something else. Great. So I decided I'm going to be a life coach. Yes, I can be a life coach. I did the training, absolutely amazing, learned a whole lot. And it was really, really fantastic learnings that I got out of it. Not just as coaching, but being coached and then coaching others as well. In that process, I learned I can sell you a product. I can sell you print. No problem. I can explain to you why this product is good. I can explain to you why the ink works the way it does. I can explain to you what paper works. That's great. Now I have to sell myself as a coach. I can help you to figure out your life. I can't do that. I'm opening myself up to the fact that I have to sell me as the solution to your life, which just didn't. I can't do that. My life's not even sorted. How on earth can I help someone else? Not understanding that it's the process, not me, but the process. So, but it still felt too much like I was. And it took me 9 months of doing. I ended up working with some amazing people, learning a whole lot of stuff. I did a whole lot of free coaching for kids in Kailicha and that kind of thing, which was so soul fulfilling, but did absolutely nothing to feed my daughter. Where I at Spa and I'd just been paid by a client. Yay! I wanted to go buy some food at Spa, and the payment was declined because all the money that was in there that had been paid had been taken by the credit card that I maxed, which that my car was in the process of being repossessed. And so failure in blinking lights. She's failed horribly at being a life coach. It was the most gut-wrenching. I remember being on the phone with my mom in tears. How could I ever have got to this? And yet, it was a matter of going, so what do I need to do? I need to find a job. That's what I need to do. Right now, the best I can do for myself is to try and figure out what. I phoned a friend of mine who I knew was in recruitment. I said, I need a job. She goes, there's something available. It's only short term. Are you interested? Yes. And that's how I got my job at Ogilvy. So I went from TBWA to 9 months of not doing anything to going to Ogilvy. And I spent 4 years at Ogilvy. And it was the most amazing time of my life. I learned more there about clients and branding and corporates. It was phenomenal. And I would never be able to do that if I hadn't got to that rock bottom to have said, I need to get another job. And to recognize that even when you're at rock bottom, you're not dying. You're still alive. I mean, I had a support system in place. I had a support structure in place. I never actually went hungry. My child never actually went hungry. Guys, I promise you, she was always fed. But I think the biggest failure there, or the biggest learning there, was that it's actually okay to fail. And to sit there and go, I didn't get it right. I don't know all the answers. And it was, and then from Ogilvy, I went to Point, and I went to Print Logic. I mean, and those are those 3 jobs in between. I mean, I was petrified because I had been where I was before, where I knew that going out on my own meant I would be in that situation again. Before I had 1 child, I now have 3. So now putting 3 children through it was way worse than doing it through 1. But I promised myself I'd never do that. So now I know what my failure rate, or my failure level is. The minute I cannot pay my monthly expenses for whatever reason, that's the time I start looking for a job.
Right.
And that goal is to always make sure I will never ever get to a point where I owe anyone more than the money I have in the bank.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Because
and I think that is so important. I think there's so many valuable lessons there in terms of money management, in terms of knowing what you owe, in terms of understanding banking systems, and like, oh, why doesn't my credit
absolutely.
card work today? You know, and I think for young people, it takes a little while to get it. You know, eventually you kind of figure out banks don't give a damn about you.
Yeah.
But you know, well, maybe you learn a lot sooner than I did. But you know, you really think that you're a loyal customer. You pay your card off every month, and they'll be nice to me. No, don't be deluded. So it's a business, and the business, yeah, is an interesting one. But I think, you know, your experience taught you so much. It was, gosh, it must have been tough, but well done for you for kind of pulling the plug and going, right, need to solution this one. And yeah, I think I'm glad that you found the job at Ogilvy. I've also got a TBWA experience. We'll share offline. So
Yes.
that's very entertaining. But yeah, so that's really, really amazing. So in terms of your own business, I suppose you've shared kind of the thing that terrifies you the most and kind of where your baseline is in terms of where you are not prepared to go and what you're not prepared to sacrifice, which is great. What do you love the most about owning your own business?
Freedom. Absolutely the freedom. I think my number one core value is freedom. Sometimes I feel like I'm absolutely handcuffed to the business because I need to get stuff done and I need to make sure that my clients get what they need and that sort of thing. But the freedom of knowing that if I take off 2 hours this morning to go and spend doing something with my kids, or that I can have coffee with my daughter, or that we can do something, I can make it up tonight at 8 o'clock or at 10 o'clock, or get up extra early tomorrow morning. And it's okay because as long as my client has what my client needs, I'm meeting my criteria. I don't need to work 8 to 5. I don't have an 8 to 5 job. The freedom of being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. The downside on that is that then you need to make sure that you work hard enough so that you can take time. I tend to forget that. I tend to forget that you need to be able to say, this week is going to be my downtime. You need downtime as much as you. So although, yes, I have a fantastic amount of freedom, I still haven't figured out that downtime. So all I do is between Christmas and New Year, which isn't quite enough. Yeah. But I think that with the longer you're in business, the more secure you are with your financials and all that kind of thing, the easier it becomes. So that's kind of the next goal, you know, other than just being around, is the goal to still have some off time that you can actually go away and have a holiday.
Yes. And I always think, and as a small business owner or an, you know, if you're it in terms of your business, it's very difficult to do, you know, especially if you are paid sometimes by the hour, if you're, you know, in the consulting space, you know, no work, no pay, basically is like, you know, so maybe there's ways around that in terms of people thinking about retainers or, you know, other things that can afford them that you don't have that feeling, that suffocating feeling that you absolutely cannot take off because you haven't done enough hours in the day to build. So,
exactly.
So yeah, it's a very, very tricky one. I don't have the answers because I'm still trying to figure that out myself. You know, I take my laptop on holiday. And I've done crazy stuff like, Skype calling while my husband's driving. We're going on a camping trip and I've got the laptop and I'm doing a Skype call in the car, the kids in the back, oh geez. So, like the crazy, or like, hiking up to the top of the mountain so that you can call and tell a client something, and, and then hiking back down and everyone's like, what are you doing? And you're like, I'm working, and then you turn into this.
What's your problem?
Ranty cow, and I'm just like, oh, what do I do with my life sometimes? So it's very, very tricky to do that as an independent. And, so there's maybe the thought of, as you say, that digital PA who can field calls and just kind of manage a few things for you, or a business partner or an employee, even if they kind of, for a youngster. So yeah, but I hope that you get it right, Pam. Yeah, I think it's time to recruit a young'un that can look after your business for you. What do you think?
Well, I'm in the process of having a discussion with someone at the moment. So holding thumbs, because I had someone who was working for me a little while ago.
Right.
And, she decided, no, she wants to go out and do other things, which is great. It means that the beauty of having people work for you is that you learn so much about your management skills and your management and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then it's just a matter of going, okay, so now make sure that you have the job description correct, and they know what they're going to do. And, so there's so much that you learn in the process.
Yes.
I think one of the biggest learnings as an entrepreneur is I always just wanted to help people with their print promotion and production stuff, because that's what I do. Now I'm an HR manager, I'm a financial manager, I'm a marketing manager, I'm a delivery guy, and everything in between. And you kind of go, but I didn't want to do that. I want to do this. Mm-hmm. So when you realize what it is you want to do, and you can outsource as much of the other stuff as possible, great. But you can't always do it, so you've got to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to kind of
take home.
Yeah, you've got to prioritize what you can and can't fit. Sometimes some stuff just needs to slip, or for later, or for when you've got the money to do it. Anyway. But Pam, I think we are out of time. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for being on the show. And where can people get hold of you? Because you are fantastic at what you do.
Thank you. Okay, so it's very easy. It's pam@printlogic.co.za. Website is printlogic.co.za. Facebook, Printlogic Cape Town, or CT, Printlogic CT. Instagram account. So, I will send it all through to you, and you can
put it
wherever you. Yeah. I think one of the big things is that so many people always think, oh no, I'm not sure. So ask the question. If you need help with anything, you ask the question. I might not necessarily give you the answer you want, but I can help you.
I love that. Stunning. Thank you, Pam. Thanks so much for being on the Out With Me podcast. Been awesome having you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been absolutely amazing. The hour's absolutely flown by. And yeah, definitely that coffee soon.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Okay. Cheers.